Hi everyone, this is Nadia, award-winning mentor, author, Clairsentient psychic, and founder at Spartanite. Today's topic we're going to be covering, are narcissists actually human? And the NAA agenda to obviously use narcissists and other cluster B personalities to destroy the human race. Okay, this is probably a mouthful, and you can type in the word narcissist or narcissistic personality disorder or narcissistic abuse, and oh my goodness, YouTube is filled with them. There's recovery programs. It is just like a cancer, and that is true. Narcissists are cancer, and I'm gonna try and explain it from a spiritual / occult / metaphysical perspective as to why they are. Now, you don't have to be psychic to know that there's something really off with narcissists. I'm talking, you can't stay around them. It's just, ew, get away from me. And you feel sick. The thought of you just kind of like clogs up when you get around them. Now, psychically, I can usually attest to feeling really cold around them. Their eyes are like cold ice, just evil. There's just nothing. It's like something snatched the soul out of them and they're just void. That's not too far from the truth. Okay, so narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths, basically, they're just levels to it, and they operate, it's pretty much the same damn disorder, but they just operate in different levels and want different things. Okay, so they come under a family called Cluster B personality disorders, which was discovered in the Psychology DSM-4 and DSM-5 manuals. You can be free to check it out. Now, what happens with narcissists, especially more than anything, is that they emit a certain frequency that's non-human. Now, I've sadly had to go through a lot of narcissistic abuse myself and recover, and I see a lot of people trapped with narcissists. I'm just like, God, what is this? What is this thing? Because they're definitely not human. Now, the basis of being a human being is being able to feel empathy for someone else. As we all know, narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths lack empathy, lack remorse, very misogynistic for the guys, basically. Absolutely hate women. When I say hate women to the nth degree, and they will go out of their way to sadistically, sexually frustrate women, drive them nuts. And women narcissists are pretty much the same with the guys. They're just, they're nuts, but it's a calculated type of nuts. It's so cold and sick that it's not human. So I started to think about, okay, what is really going on with this thing? Like, why is it like, what am I missing? Like, there's only so much you can read about narcissistic abuse or whatever. It's like, okay, yeah, you're trauma bonded to the narcissist, so you can't let go of them. Like, all right, cool, that makes sense, and I understand that. How they gaslight you, like basically how they brainwash you to like question your own sanity. All of this sounds very clinical. It sounds very something like a psychotherapist. You have to go through it. I don't knock it, and I think it's really good. But one thing I really want to make sure, and I want to try and explain to people, is this, that narcissists basically are infected with a matrix, and this matrix actually comes from the non-human alien races that govern this planet, and are in conjunction with your elite to have complete control over humanity. Oh my goodness, and what a better way to actually just turn humans against themselves. Funny, isn't it? So people just fight over religion, they fight over their race, now there are gender wars, now apparently there's no gender, and it's just, the divisions never end. Which is why true love and being wealthy when it comes to spirituality is very tough, and I will try and cover that in another video at some point. So going back to narcissism is something that's very difficult to break away from, because the energy of narcissism is a direct, how do I put this? It's kind of like a direct manifestation of the draconian rule in our, should I say society or should I say world or planet? I'm not entirely sure. So there are two major races that actually control this world through your elite. All these like little black op government shit and like that. And well, yeah, I mean, you guys can do your own research. I don't need to be sitting on YouTube all day long and saying this, but it's for people that want to really understand this like kind of like narcissistic energy. So there are two major alien races. There are the gray aliens, like, you know, you guys have like the emojis on, like, I'm guessing Facebook, but I don't use it, on Instagram, on WhatsApp. I've seen like the little alien emojis. Yeah, those are your gray aliens, which come from the Zeta Reticuli belt, I think, or like their realm, basically the galaxy Zeta Reticuli. Okay. And the number two obviously is the Draconian, and they're very much, think of the military. If you ever want to think about what Draconian energy is, military. No empathy, war, violence, bloodshed, misogyny, extreme and utter hatred for the feminine. That's the reason women suffer so much. They don't suffer at men's hands, okay? At the basic level, you would think women are suffering at men's hands, but when you start to look at it from an interplanetary and intergalactic perspective, they're not. These things, I like calling them, want to use men to destroy women, because men are supposed to be our protectors, so they want to use them to destroy them. So narcissists are kind of like a cancer. I want you guys to imagine a box of mangoes or like a box of apples. And if you've got like, I don't know, take one mango, take it to a lab basically, just put mold on it or let it like rot or something. And they're like really nice. There's eight mangoes in the box essentially. And then you take out one and then you put it back in. I'm telling you, within a couple of days, all the mangoes are just rotten. Just ew. That's basically it. So that's what's happening at the moment, because they usually say in psychology that narcissism is a result of extreme trauma in childhood, which I can understand and agree. I don't think there's a single narcissist that I don't know who has not been through extreme and utter trauma, abandonment, psychological, social, financial, sexual, physical violence, you know, neglect, all those kind of things. But it does not explain for every single child that has gone through abandonment, abuse, and all that stuff does not turn out to be a narcissist, okay? So what's missing? The missing bit is that at some point, I personally feel, and I could be wrong, but this is my take on it psychically, that child had some sort of, not access, but the stuff that's evil, basically, the non-human races, and not all of them are evil, but the ones that govern this world, yes, they are. They found an in, and it's kind of like, you know, these horror movies, and they're not horror, they like just showing you what they're actually doing, and all the silly humans like looking at it thinking, oh, it's just a movie, it's 2 hours. But no, they're actually showing you what to do. They're giving you the information in plain sight, and people are just too stupid and asleep to actually realize it. So it kind of reminds me of, oh, I don't remember the movie's name, but I don't watch movies for that reason. I have no interest in predictive programming or subliminal programming. I just kind of go read their synopsis and I'm like, cool, this is what they're doing. And there's one where it's like a frequency, because non-human races work on frequency, which is why I say to people, even when I do like my money work, and this may be going way off track from the narcissistic perspective, but bear with me, I'm going to come back to it, that everything's a frequency. So they've perverted music, they've perverted sex, they've done all that stuff. And with narcissists are kind of like their agenda, so to speak. Now, for a lot of religious people, they'll probably be like, yep, narcissists are Satan's spawn, blah, blah, this, that. I get where they're coming from, and they're probably correct. Not all left-hand people are evil. Please stop saying that and don't be ignorant about it. But what I will say is that with narcissists, they already have the infection. They are infected with the Draconian Virus, okay? Now, when someone's infected with the Draconian Virus, here are the symptoms that you are going to see, which makes them narcissistic, okay? Misogyny, as I mentioned, Extreme and utter contempt and hatred for the feminine. Why is there hatred for the feminine? Because the feminine is considered as weak. I don't care how people like to slice this. Masculine is strong, feminine is weak, and a woman has to rely on a man. That's just been there from from ages ago, like from the dawn of time. I'm not calling women weak. Any individual that can push a child out of her body is not weak. This is not me saying it. I'm just talking about, should I say the natural order of things? I'm not sure, but yeah, it is what it is. Misogyny, number 2, the biggie, the big one, the lack of empathy. They just don't care. You could be just dying. They probably just like, you know what, just go die in a corner. They have no empathy. They have nothing. And slowly, they have managed to insert their draconian values into every part of society. So people barely have any empathy for anybody left anymore. Violence, number 3. People are so violent. They're bloodthirsty. They love to watch torture porn, as I call it. They love to watch people being slaughtered, being killed. And because of this energy, it affects the first chakra, which is the root chakra. The second chakra, which is the sacral. So basically your private area, and for ladies the womb, and the guys just above the genitals. And your 6th chakra, which is your third eye, which means people are psychically blind. They literally cannot see anything of what's going on, and this serves in their agenda very well. The draconian, if you ever want to think about what draconian energy is like, just think of the military. Very, very organized, lots of ranks, and extreme, and it just turns you into something that's not human. Because remember what I go back and say, that to have human energy, you have to be empathic, you have to be nurturing, kind. It doesn't matter man or woman. Human beings do not have a problem with being empathic. So the real issue is between the humans that are left who can feel, and the humans that are then infected with this virus. And increasingly, not everybody that's selfish is narcissistic, but it is freaking surprising how fast this virus is actually spreading. The virus is greatly spreading through technology. I will probably cover that in another segment. But if there has been parts of you, I'm sure every single person that's dealt with a narcissist, or has been abused by one, or has had to come in contact with one thing, they just don't feel human. You're actually right, they're not human, and they're just carrying out a draconian agenda, and the grey Zeta Reticuli agenda, more the draconian one than the greys, but they're there. It's almost like that. I remember a narcissist I know said that to me, and now that I think of it, I'm like, wow, gosh. And he said, I listen to people's weaknesses and I turn them against them. Yeah, that sounds like something like a horror movie, but except horror movies are not horror, they're actually real, and most people's minds cannot comprehend that everything they show in a horror movie is actually real and it's happening. So if you ever have any like doubts or questions, like this surely isn't right, this can't be human, yeah, they're not human. So hopefully that's helped, and it's given everybody watching this a really good insight into a bit of occult knowledge, and I promise I will share more in coming videos on this channel as well. And also, yeah, the narcissist in your life is certainly not human. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for being with me today and watching. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.